What's cracking, guys? Omar Isuf here, back with another video. We got that cinematic look. We got no light in here because this is a serious video. We're talking all about everyone's favorite lift. If you said calf raises, get the fuck out of here right now. The bench press. In particular, for me, you guys probably know this, I want to increase my bench press. Besides my major goal, the weightlifting, which is taking up the majority of my time, I decided, well, the weight is light, to also try and pursue getting stronger on the bench press. I believe I got more left in me. I ain't done yet. I benched 350. I want to do 360 pounds at 180 pounds. This has caused me to look at the bench press a lot, reevaluate my setup, my technique, every damn thing. And in this video today, I'm going to talk about something very important I've not talked about before on the channel, and something that I don't see get talked about often enough. And I have to give a credit to Mike Teixeira, because I saw a video of his talking about this issue. We're going to talk about scapular retraction, depression, and trying to maintain this when you do the bench press. So essentially, when you do the bench press, just to give a quick briefer on this, I've talked about this portion before, how you want to retract your scapula, you want to bring it together. Why? Well, there's a couple different reasons. You want to retract and depress your scapula. The first is because you want to keep your shoulders safe. You want to create that strong, stable base with which to bench press off of the actual pad. So you want to make sure you're tight, you're solid, you're retracted, so you feel that tension when you push the weight off of your body, you're pushing then against the pad into that tight, solid base. The second reason, though, too, when you depress your scapula, it actually allows you to get a little bit more of an arch, allows you to touch a little bit lower, a higher point of contact, which when we're trying to shorten the range of motion of the bench press is very important. But there's several different reasons, like I said before. You could bench press safer, stronger, and as well, besides that, it allows you to do that slight little bit of a difference if you depress your scapula of shortening the range of motion. So for those reasons, we all want, no matter if your goal is to be a bodybuilder, a powerlifter, if you just want to build muscle, we want to focus on good, safe technique. You want to focus on retracting your scapula. But here's the problem. We also talk about depressing it, and if you do a normal bench press rep, as most people will do, that is once again more of that powerlifting style, which is optimal for lifting the most amount of weight, where the bench press line travels in a J curve, and I have a full video on that, link will be in the description, but you don't want to bench press in a straight line. Remember, your anterior deltoid, its whole function essentially when it comes to the bench press is to help the bar move back. The three things combined: leg drive, so your feet pushing into the ground, you touching at a higher point, so you push with your legs into the ground, that's sending a positive force back this way, along with your anterior delt allows you to push the bar back into a more favorable position. So the bar doesn't travel in a straight line. However, when this occurs, what you'll tend to notice, especially when you do more than 2 reps, 3 reps, so let's say you got your classic Ripito 5s, what you'll tend to notice, if you're tight, you're set up, you're retracted, you unrack the bar, by the time you get to your 3rd rep, 4th rep, 5th rep, because you're moving it in a J curve, actually what's going to happen, that retraction of the scapula that you had, that you focused so perfectly on the first rep, you're going to lose it over time. You're not only going to lose the retraction, but also that depression. As a little bit of a cue, I actually saw this from a JP Kauki video, so credit to him. If you think about depressing your shoulder, you could do a drill right now where you just want to lift your arm over your head. Cool. Whatever you do that, no problem. Now instead, if you want to think about putting your shoulder blade into your pocket, so you want to focus on depressing this side right here, depress it, and then try and lift this shoulder blade in the same way, you can't lift it basically above parallel to the ground without eliminating that depression. So what actually occurs when you do that J curve a little bit, because you're pushing it back, it becomes easier to lose that tightness. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that J curve bench press where the bar goes backwards. You definitely should, because it'll allow you to push more weight. And it's actually, I think, in ways personally, safer on your body overall. However, what I am saying is that to get the maximum amount out of that scapular retraction, and also to set your elbows in that proper position to prevent them from flaring, because two things kind of occur simultaneously. The more you lose that scapular retraction, the more your elbows are going to tend to flare on the bench press. So for that reason alone, you really want to make sure you keep it tight. But in this video, what I'm going to talk about is, besides just getting it set tight, where you already set it tight and you get that handoff, after the handoff, you want to just make sure you're locked in by further trying to retract with your shoulder blades while you have the weight in your hand, just a little bit. You probably won't be able to do anything, but what you'll notice, a lot of really good powerlifters, when they do the bench press, you'll see this a little bit, before they initiate the movement, their chest almost, after they unrack the bar, their chest puffs up a little bit and almost looks like the shoulders become a little bit more retracted. And really what's happening They're kind of bending the bar, they're pulling it apart a little bit, they're getting those lats engaged. The lats aren't going to help you press the bar off of your body, but it will help create that stable base to bring the bar down in that proper line so you're at the proper position so you can press strong. So what you really want to do besides doing the normal shit, so however you set up, there's multiple ways to set up, retract. Do you set your feet down, your shoulders down? That doesn't really matter. But after you're all tight, you're good to go, you unrack the bar. We talked also in another video about protracting, where some people, where they get a shitty handoff or the actual pin height is just way too high. What happens? They unrack the bar, they're tight, and they unrack it, they lose all that tightness. Now their shoulder blades are kind of just floating around, they're bleeding powder. So for you, you get tight, you want to unrack. After you unrack the weight and you already feel stable, you just want to make sure you want to see with the bar if you could just retract it a little bit further. Think it's a bending, twisting motion down like this before you initiate the movement. So before you bend with the arms, you want to just see if you can retract a little bit more, puff the chest up, get the lats set, everything nice and tight. And once you do, then initiate the movement, do a rep. And after every single repetition, as long as you're not going for an AMRAP or let's say a set of 8 or 10, something like that, so you're going for 3, 4, 5 reps, after every single rep, just after you complete the movement, retract, make sure you pull in tight again. Since you're doing most likely that J curve, it's inevitable, no matter who you are, that you'll lose a little bit of that tightness over time. And you want to try and maintain as much of that as possible. Why? Because you want all your reps to be the same. And really, I kind of came to this epiphany because unlike the squat or the deadlift, you know, there's ways of approximating with your, to approximate, I should say, your 1 rep max based upon how many reps you do. And my bench press was always off. Like if I'm able to bench press 315 for 3 reps, that means I got a 350 bench press for myself. But if you look at a chart, really what you'll see is more like 330, 335, I would say, is what you should be able to do. And that's because the rep quality for me would always tend to go down after that first rep. I'd set up tight, I'd be good, I'd rep it out, and as I keep pushing it back, what happens, the shoulder blades, everything kind of slips out of position. And this is far more common than you think. Once again, it just happens. What I wasn't doing is resetting after every single rep and just seeing, you know, what's the position like? So can I actually retract a little bit more once again? Can I get that chest puffed up? Can I engage those lats? You want to focus before you even let the elbows bend. This is the first thing you should be doing. And I see a lot of bros do not do this. A lot of really good bench pressers definitely do this. They do this intuitively. Either they know what they're doing or they're just thinking, all right, set the lats, get it tight, get the bar tight, get everything set in place. And they kind of just do it where they retract. Maybe that's what they're thinking about, but it's all the same thing. You want to keep that depression and retraction of your scapula every single rep. You'll lose tightness over time, so you have to reset. And remember, it's not an elbow bend that occurs. It's actually sending the shoulders back, making sure the lats are tight, everything is feeling good, chest puffed up. You could think as you bring the bar down to you, so you're bringing the bar down to your chest, which is almost expanding as you bring it down, as opposed to letting it cave in and you're sinking, and then you're going to press the weight. If you do this often enough, what you should notice is a stronger, more stable bench press, a more consistent bench press. One of the most common complaints I see when it comes to the bench press, and trust me guys, now that I actually want to increase the bench press, I've been thinking about it a whole lot. One of the most common complaints I see about the bench press versus the deadlift or the squat is the inconsistency of reps. And I think a lot of this inconsistency comes from losing a little bit of that tightness over time. And we're not talking that beginner mistake of just protracting forward where your shoulders are kind of rounding forward. I mean good bench pressers that over time, as they're repping it out and they're pushing the bar back, their shoulder blades, once again, they're elevating a little bit instead of being depressed, and they're also losing that retraction. So guys, this is far more important than you think. What is the takeaway message from this video? First, initiate with a retraction and depression before you unrack the bar. Unrack the bar, and then once again, just see by trying to pull your shoulder blades back once again, get your lats set up in place, so think big lats, chest puffed up. If you can't, just pull it a little further back, do a rep. After that rep, same thing where you just pull it, rep it again. And before you know it, this actually will become fairly intuitive and you won't have to think about it like every time, okay, like what am I doing? It'll just feel tighter and better and stronger. Anyways, guys, that is the video. That is all I wanted to say. I need every possible trick in the book if I'm going to bench press 360 pounds at around 180 pounds body weight, especially because I don't do a big arch, so I got that long ass range of motion. If you found this useful, I'm looking right at you. You made it all the way to the end of the video. The hell you waiting for? Make sure to like the damn video. We're scenic as fuck right here. We're setting the mood for you. The mood to hit a PR. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll be seeing all you guys, my rascals, in that next one. Peace!